Hello guys, welcome to Edu World. Today we are going to read the part second, the Shehnai of Bismillah of chapter 2, the sound of the music. Now we will read this chapter line by line. Emperor Aurangzeb banned the playing of a musical instrument called pungi in the royal residence, for it had a shrill, unpleasant sound. So, here what we learn, Emperor Aurangzeb he banned that particular instrument called pungi because its sound was unpleasant for him. Pungi became the generic name for reed noisemakers. So, what was pungi? Anything that was made up of reed, R-E-E-D, reed, and it creates sound, it was called pungi. Few had thought that it would one day be revived. So many people were thinking that sometime it will be updated. It would be have its updated version. A barber of a family of professional musicians who had access to the royal palace decided to improve the tonal quality of the pungi. So there was a barber and he had some access to the royal court. He thought of updating this version of pungi. He chose a pipe with a natural hollow stem that was longer and broader than the pungi. So what he did, he took some piece of pipe that was broader than the pungi and made 7 holes on the body of the pipe. And as we see in flute, in basuri, as you see, he has made 7 holes in that particular pipe. When he played on it, closing and opening some of these holes, soft and melodious sounds were produced. So when he played this, so there was very sweet sound. He played the instrument before royalty and everyone was impressed. So everyone was impressed with his work, that he has made a very beautiful instrument. The instrument, so different from the pungi, had to be given a new name. So it was different from pungi, so it had to have a different name. As the story goes, since it was first played in the Shah's chambers and was played by a nai, the instrument was named the Shehnai. So what is the logic behind the name Shehnai? Because first of all it was played in a king's court, that is called Shah, and it was first played by a nai, a barber. That is why it is named at Shah Nai to Shehnai. The second part is the sound of the Shehnai began to be considered auspicious. So its sound used to be as for good fortune, that it brings good fortune. So people used to call Shehnai Wadak, so they used to play this on their good timings, and for this reason it is still played in temples and is in an indispensable component of any North Indian wedding. So it is still played, okay, it is still played, without which a piece of work cannot be done. So if any religious thing is there or religious occasion is there, so people used to play this because it is a very important part of their wedding, their ceremonial thing. In the past, the Shehnai was instrument found at a royal courts. So Shehnai used to be found in a royal courts as Naubat or traditional ensemble. Till recently, it was used only in temples and weddings. The credit for bringing this instrument onto classical stage goes to Ustad Bismillah Khan. So this particular instrument used to be played in temples and in many classical stages, and for this classical stage the credit goes to Bismillah Khan, Ustad Bismillah Khan. As a 5-year-old, now what we are reading? We are reading about the story of Bismillah Khan, how Bismillah Khan became Ustad Bismillah Khan, why he is so famous. So now we are reading his story from his childhood onwards. As a 5-year-old, Bismillah Khan played gilli danda near a pond in the ancient state of Dumera in Bihar. So he used to play gilli danda in Dumrao village that was in Bihar. He was 5 years old. He would regularly go to the nearby Bihariji temple to sing the Bhojpuri Cheta. So he used to go nearby temple that was Bihariji temple, and it was situated in Cheta, at the end of which he would earn a big laddu weighing 1.25 kg, a prize given by the local Maharaja. So for playing Shehnai, he used to get 1.25 kg laddu as a prize. This happened 80 years ago, and the little boy has travelled far to earn his highest civilian award in India, the Bharat Ratna. We are talking about Ustad Bismillah Khan, and we very well know that he is a Bharat Ratna awardee. And after so many years, he got this very highest civilian award of India. Born on 21st March 1916, Bismillah Khan belongs to a well-known family of musicians from Bihar. So he belongs to Bihar, and in his ancestry, people are musicians. His grandfather Rasul Baks Khan was the Shehnai Nawaz of Bhojpur King's court. So his grandfather Rasul Baks Khan, he was Shehnai Wadak. His father Paigambar Baksh and other paternal ancestors were also great Shehnai players. So if we see, the music is there in his veins, and Shehnai is being played in his ancestry, so he has to become a great musician. He had to become a great musician. The young boy took to music early in life at the age of 3, when his mother took him to his maternal uncle's house in Banaras, now that is called Varanasi. Bismillah was fascinated watching his uncles practice the Shehnai. So see, from the very early age, when he was just 3, he used to play Shehnai. Soon Bismillah started accompanying his uncle Ali Baksh to the Vishnu temple of Banaras, where Baksh was employed to play the Shehnai. So he used to go with his with his mama Ali Baksh to play Shehnai. Ali Baksh would play the Shehnai, and Bismillah would sit captivated for hours on end. So Ali Baksh used to play Shehnai, and he used to listen to him for hours. Slowly he started getting lessons in playing the instrument and would sit practicing throughout the day. So he used to sit for hours and practice playing Shehnai. Would sit practice throughout the day. For years to come, the temple of Balaji and Mangala Malaya and the banks of the Ganga became the young apprentice's favorite haunts, where he could practice in solitude. So like Arjuna, that Arjuna used to practice archery when he was alone. He never saw the time, whether it is day or it is night. He used to practice. Similarly, Bismillah Khan used to practice his Shehnai whenever he gets time. He sits alone and starts playing Shehnai. The flowing waters of the Ganga inspired him to improvise his invent ragas that were earlier considered to be beyond the range of the Shehnai. So the river Ganga used to inspire him to play Shehnai. So it is very much there. Inspiration is within us, but it is the time when we come to know about it. Similarly, Bismillah Khan also got his inspiration and start playing Shehnai at the very small age. He was just 3 and he started playing Shehnai. At the age of 14, Bismillah accompanied his uncle to the Allahabad Music Conference. So when he was 14, he went to Allahabad Musical Conference. At the end of the recital, Ustad Fayaz Khan patted the young boy's back and said, "Work hard and you shall make it." So Ustad Fayaz Khan also patted his back and he said to him, "If you work hard, so you will get success." With the opening of All India Radio in Lucknow in 1938 came Bismillah's big break. He soon became an often heard Shehnai player on radio. So he got his big break in 1938 in Lucknow on radio, and later on he continued to start playing on radio itself. People used to listen to him. When India gained independence on 15th August 1947, Bismillah Khan became the first Indian to greet the nation with his Shehnai. So why Bismillah Khan is remembered today? Because he played Shehnai on 15th August 1947 when the India was declared free. He poured his heart out into Rag Kafi from the Red Fort to an audience which included Pandit Jawaharlal Nehru, who later gave his famous Tryst with Destiny speech. So what happened here? He played his Shehnai in front of each and every very famous people, including Pandit Jawaharlal Nehru. Bismillah Khan has given many memorable performances both in India and abroad. So his fame was famous in India as well as he was also known abroad in other countries as well. His first trip abroad was to Afghanistan, where King Zahir Shah was so taken in by the maestro that he gifted him priceless Persian carpets and other souvenirs. So what happened? His first abroad trip was there in Afghanistan, where the king Zahir, he was so happy with his performance that he gifted him his Persian carpets and other souvenirs. What are souvenirs? Souvenirs are things that are given in the memory of place or person or any event. Okay. The king of Afghanistan was not the only one to be fascinated with Bismillah's music. So his fame was there in all over the world, not only in Afghanistan. Film director Vijay Bhatt was so impressed after hearing Bismillah's play at a festival that he named a film after the instrument called Goonj Uthi Shehnai. So what happened? There was a film director called Vijay Bhatt. He was so much fascinated that he named one of his movies that was after Shehnai. The name of the movie was Goonj Uthi Shehnai. The film was a hit, and one of Bismillah Khan's compositions, Dil Ka Khilona Hai Toot Gaya, turned out to be a nationwide chart buster. So what happened? The film was also so famous, and he has given this song Dil Ka Khilona Hai Toot Gaya. That was a record breaker one. Despite this huge success in the celluloid world, Bismillah Khan's ventures in film music were limited to two: Vijay Bhatt's Goonj Uthi Shehnai, Vikram Srinivasa's Kannada venture Sanadhi Apanna. It means that his Shehnai was limited to only two movies. I just can't come to terms with the artificiality and glamour to the film world, he says with emphasis. So he used to say that he cannot make it artificial, that he plays his Shehnai, cannot come to terms with the artificiality and glamour of the film world. So just because of glamour of film world, he cannot make it artificial, because Shehnai was everything for him. Awards and recognition came thick and fast. Bismillah Khan became the first Indian to be invited to perform at the prestigious Lincoln Center Hall in the United States of America. See, he was the first person who was called in America to play Shehnai. He also took part in the World Exposition in Montreal, in the Cannes Art Festival, and in the Osaka Trade Fair. So he took part in so many places like Osaka Trade Fair. So well known did he become internationally that an auditorium in Tehran was named after him. Tahar Mosque Ustad Bismillah Khan. So in Tehran there was an auditorium. People were so much fascinated by him that that particular auditorium was named after his name, Tahar Mosque Ustad Bismillah Khan. National awards like the Padma Shri, the Padma Bhushan, and the Padma Vibhushan were conferred on him. So he was given so many national awards also. In 2001, Ustad Bismillah Khan was awarded India's highest civilian award, the Bharat Ratna. So in 2001, he was awarded Bharat Ratna with the coveted award resting on his chest and his eyes glinting with rare happiness. He said, "All I would like to say is, teach your children music. This is Hindustan's richest tradition. Even the West is now coming to learn our music." So what he said, that you teach your children many things, that is good, but you should also teach your children to learn music. They should have some kind of notion about music, because it is from our on India that every people are learning. People come from west here, Russia, Germany, and so many countries are there, America, USA, many countries are there. They are coming to India. Why? Just because to learn music. And that's why he put emphasis on people that they should make their children learn music. In spite of having travelled all over the world, Khan Sahab, as he is fondly called, is exceedingly fond of Banaras and Dumrao, and they remain for him the most wonderful towns of the world. He, has gone to many places in the world itself, but for him, his heart was kept in Banaras and Dumrao. In two places, a student of his own wanted him to head a Shehnai school in the USA, and the student promised to recreate the atmosphere of Banaras by replicating the temples there. So one of his students in USA and the student promised to recreate the atmosphere of Banaras by replicating the temples there. So he also promised Khan Sahab that he should come to the USA, and the particular student will recreate that particular place like Banaras by building some temples over there. But Khan Sahab asked him if he would be able to transport river Ganga as well. Now he asked him to do an impossible thing, that he said that he cannot play anything without sitting on the banks of Ganges river. Later he is remembered to have said, "That is why whenever I am in foreign country, I keep yearning to see Hindustan. While in Mumbai, I think of only Banaras and the Holy Ganga." So he said whenever he is there in some foreign country, he only thinks of India. If he is in India, he always thinks of only Banaras. While in Mumbai, I think of only Banaras and the Holy Ganga, and while in Banaras, I miss the unique Matha of Damra. So whenever he is there in Banaras, he always used to miss Matha. Matha, WHEY, way. Now, if we see the last part of this chapter, Ustad Bismillah Khan's life is a perfect example of rich cultural heritage of India, one that effortlessly accepts that a devout Muslim like him can very naturally play the Shehnai every morning at the Kashi Vishwanath temple. So Bismillah Khan is the perfect example that he has rich culture heritage of India and so many things. What is here Devo Muslim? Devo Muslim is that is someone believing strongly in religion and obeying its law and following the practices. So being a Muslim, he used to play these things, Shehnai at Kashi Vishwanath temple that belongs to basically Hindus, but he did not have such kind of things. He did not have any animosity against Hindus and any other religion, and he passed away on 21st of August 2006 at the age of 90 after a prolonged illness. He was given a state funeral and government of India declared one day national mourning for him. Okay, if you like this video, please hit the like button, share and subscribe, and do comment if there is something necessary.